Welcome to Main Street Minds with your host, Amish Munshi. This is where industry leaders and seasoned pros share their secrets to success beyond limits. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to Main Street Minds. Today I have a very special guest, Daxon and David over here with us, and I'm very excited to present this because my channel has been a mix of tech and real estate, and this is the first episode where I'm mixing two platforms all together. And who better than Daxon and David to introduce us to what's happening within real estate and how to go forward and increase your business in the right way using the right platforms with Obsidian Real Estate and kind of see what is happening in the market and be in front of everyone else. So without any further delay, let me open up the floor. Daxon and David, tell us all your secrets.
Thank you, Amish. Appreciate you having us on. I think I just want to start by saying that a lot of people have this concept of artificial intelligence or whatever they're looking to get into as something that is potentially going to replace their job. And what we're really looking to do is just create efficiency within our space. And a lot of what's happened over the years is that we have had the same bandwidth of personal to personal connection, but some of the other factors have increased, such as the amount of paperwork, for example. Now, we have these longer contracts, and so it takes longer for us to go through those and review those. And sometimes it takes time away from what we call our sphere, which is our personal connections that we've built over time in our business. And what we're doing is recreating automation within the real estate space to free up a lot of that mundane task. And so that allows us to really get back to focusing on our personal connections with the clients that we enjoy spending our time with and the clients that want to be in our circle and be around us. And I think that brings back some of that personal aspect that has almost been lost over the last 2 decades or so in real estate as things have gotten a little more automated, like Zillow, for example. Now you can shop homes from the comfort of your couch. You don't have to talk to an agent in order to find homes and properties. And we're trying to bring that back because it can be a really fun experience with going out and looking at these properties and talking with somebody and talking through the different scenarios that are possible. And to that, I just want people to understand that it's a tool. We're not trying to replace ourselves with automation by any means. We're doing it so that we can create efficiencies within the process to have better connections with our people and spend, honestly, more time with them is what it boils down to.
Yeah, and even when I think about it, like just last week, there was somebody who said, "Hey, I think I'm interested in buying a house." I do get, as an investor, I do get some off-market properties, and I was like, "Here are 3 or 4 that make sense." Even if there was a tool or technology that would say, "Hey, set up those appointments, schedule a route that would be the most efficient to see." Especially, it's not just a Google Map scheduling, right? I don't want the shortest route. I want to show the houses in a way that makes them understand, like, okay, like we start off with homes that probably they asked for, and then we show them the correct houses that are actually right for them. And like just the real estate mindset and the skill and knowledge that is involved, include all of that within there. And that's just one thought that I had, but there's just so many tools and resources that are like all over the place for realtors. And it's very, very important. I think it's about time. Like I don't know why somebody has not done this, and I'm so glad you're actually solving real problems.
Well, and like one of the things is that if you look at the under contract rates, right, like they're at an all-time high as far as contracts falling apart. And a lot of that is due to, the deals are just harder right now to get to the table and get to completion. And our thinking is like, okay, well, you can adapt. And if we can make some things more efficient, it allows us to concentrate more on the deals themselves also and get a higher success rate, from contract to keys. So, it's just about figuring out, everything evolves. And we saw that during COVID, right? Everybody, once we found out we were going to be locked in our houses forever and you were selling real estate from your couch, I mean, all of a sudden everyone's using Matterport, which 2 years before they would never spend the money on it. Yeah. So, you just kind of move and shake along. But like what Dave was saying, we're trying to use different tools to make things more efficient. So eventually it gets back to us being able to spend more time with the consumers, which, listen, both of us are in a referral base, right? And, that matters. That's the crux of your business. So if you can figure out ways to create more time, with your people, it just generates more and more referrals, right? And then you're better off in the long run.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's also the client experience, right? Like it matters a lot. Like when somebody refers and we have a predictable, repeatable way of doing something, and have a system and a process, and not just that one phone call and then they're waiting for us forever.
Yeah.
Right. So if the somebody referring people to us will also feel more confident, saying, yeah, it's a professional who is going to get this thing done when we give them a referral and they won't let us down. So tell us more about Obsidian. Like, are you hiring more agents? Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. So I think the biggest benefit to what we're trying to build out here is that we're taking our approach is really going to be agent forward once we get to some certain thresholds where we're really able to just sort of provide leads to the agents that decide to join our team, and not even just provide the leads, but actually have them scheduled and ready to go, and
Mm-hmm.
taking a lot of that sort of interim between, because let's be honest, it takes more touches now than ever to actually
Oh
get
yeah.
somebody to potentially come in to talk about a consultation or even find out if they have any interest in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally get that. It's not for everybody. But at the same time, we have to spend that time to try to discover what that looks like. And so
Yeah.
that's one of those sections where we're trying to sort of automate that side of it to just
Mm-hmm.
dig out the intent. And if there is interest there to potentially sit down with us, then that
Mm-hmm.
becomes the personal connection at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas 30 years ago, everybody in the neighborhood knew each other. And if there was one
Yeah.
realtor in that space, that was who they used. Now you have
Yeah.
all these options. You can go online. I mean, a buyer could go get a contract off of Dora's website. They could write it. They could submit it to the seller if they'd like to.
Yeah.
But we're managing a huge financial expenditure for a lot of people. And so you want to find the right person. And not everybody's open to that. So if we can sort
Yeah.
of take that A to B and take out that huge amount of time that sometimes it takes just to get somebody to respond, even to tell us no, which I would
Yeah.
appreciate it in our first interaction if they were just like, you
Yeah.
know what, I'm never interested in it. Awesome. Then it's not going to fit my business. Maybe we can be friends, but for business aspect, I'm going to go find somebody, willing to explore this with me. So that's one of the big things, is sort of taking out that interim of initial contact to consultation. And
Mm-hmm.
so our value add, a huge value proposition
Yeah.
for the agents that do get hired onto our team, is that they're basically going to be scheduled appointments to just go on without ever having
Yeah.
to do that initial contact and attempt to follow up with them for who knows
Mm-hmm.
how long until they give us a yes or no. And so that's
Yeah.
that piece that really starts to show, okay, instead of you slamming the phones for 3 hours in the morning to try to get one appointment,
Yeah.
now you've gone on 4 appointments that morning and you've had 4 personal connections with people to build rapport, find out similar interests, find out how we can help them, kind of situation. And that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg for the people that are deciding to join. And then we're trying to create this whole sort of ecosystem as far as the user friendliness, like Dax was
Mm-hmm.
saying. Our MLS is archaic. If you went on it right now, it feels like it's out of the 90s
Yeah.
and it was built on Windows DOS. And
Yeah.
that's not what people want. People are used to things like the Zillows or the Amazon of the world. And if you're
Yeah.
not creating an easy system,
Mm-hmm.
then nobody's going to use it. And so we want
Yeah.
that ease of use for anybody who
Yeah.
decides to partner up with us and work with us.
Makes sense. And are you looking to kind of make this into a separate product and make it available to other agencies as well, or it's going to be a niche product and kind of make this into a brand itself as Obsidian?
I think it's going to start as a niche brand, and ideally, we get to a point where we can sort of, dictate whether it's a value proposition to our
Mm-hmm.
brokerage, for example, and then they can
Sure.
pick it up and potentially
Yeah.
work on it from there. Because if it does become something where our customer base and our sphere, they say, you know what, this is awesome. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
is just a cool tool for me to have, whether I'm looking in real estate right now or
Yeah.
not really interested in it.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then why not give it out to as many people as we can if
Mm-hmm.
it's helpful for them and if it makes things a little bit easier.
And the funny thing is, when you talk about other brokerages that are using technology, you talk about people, I won't mention names, but they you talk about like cloud-based structures, and that's kind of how they run everything on the technology side, whereas we're really working on in the AI space, right? So we understand now more than ever that there are more people finding things on
Yeah.
ChatGPT and Gemini and Grok and all these platforms, almost more than Google itself, right? And so
Yeah.
you have to figure out how are you going to find a slice of that pie and get into that space, right? And so part of what we're doing also is trying to integrate everything so that when people are going on, I had a gentleman reach out to me 3 months ago, and he found me on ChatGPT, and then he went and looked me up on Facebook and then DM'd me through there. And the fact of the matter is, he was like, yeah, I just was like on ChatGPT and looking for the best realtor in Denver, and then I popped up, right? So
Yeah.
we're really trying to play into those algorithms in like that space, knowing that as we go forward in the next couple of years, that's probably going to be the predominant way that people are starting to search now, right?
Yeah.
So
And I know like Google might still have a lot of information and data, but it's still one of the better tools to use, but still there is enough other competitors available now. Right now, it's not going to be the old world where there is one search engine and one company. It should be possible to integrate with multiple platforms, because that's going to be the future. It's not going to be one company providing one operating system that's used by everybody. It's going to be more like an auto industry where, which is a good thing, right? Like there's going to be 3 or 4 competitors.
That's what we want. Otherwise, we wouldn't be trying to adapt and grow like we are and bringing something new to the table.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit more. Like one of the most important things is anybody in the industry is the prospecting, right? So tell us. I will go back and edit a few of these things that are a little bit off on this recording. Sorry.
You're good.
1 second. Not sure what happened. Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about the prospecting, which is the most important key part for anybody in the industry, right? Like the sphere works only so much, but then prospecting is the thing that increases the business and expands it and makes you into a true, real professional. So how is the tool helping us with prospecting?
Yeah, that's a good question. The answer is kind of vast, if I'm being honest. It's got so much potential in various forms of doing this. But first and foremost, it has the ability to follow up, have conversations, and provide information to people, which I think is big. A lot of times you potentially, I know that there's a stigma against us where it's like, okay, a realtor is just going to try to get you in their office. They're going to try to get you to sign this paperwork so that they're committed to you, and then they're going to try to sell you whatever house they can, kind of situation. And so honestly, I think a lot of what we're trying to do is give some power back to the people to say, hey, look, you have this tool. You can play with it. You can go search homes. You can chat with our bot. If you're ready to ever sit down and talk about it, great. If you just want to ask her to dig up potential properties that might fit your criteria, awesome. If you want to learn a little bit more about who we are, she can answer that too, but we're happy to have that conversation. And I think that's really where Zillow came to get some of that spotlight, was like, okay, you don't need to go to an agent to get MLS information anymore. You go on the app, you can order your agent right from there. They'll meet you at the house. They'll show you the property. Yeah. You can decide if you want to work with them from there or not. And I think that's almost like the key for this whole automation thing, is that we don't want it to run our entire business. We want it to take some things off of our plate so that, one, the people can have a little bit of power back. And then it also creates like a level playing field for us to come in and say, hey, look, we've got so many people that are potentially working with us right now that, if it's not a good fit, then we're not trying to force anything, which is something that a lot of agents run into. And so when you create a volume like we're starting to see, I think it creates a better environment for both parties, which is ultimately giving some power back to the consumer to go on the app whenever they want or ask the questions, book the appointments, get into our vendor lists. I mean, this is another piece of the puzzle, is like, sometimes they're scared to call us up and be like, I messed up and I didn't take care of my furnace or whatever, and now it blew up. And
Yeah.
now they can potentially go on the app and say, hey, L,
Yeah.
who's a good HVAC guy with Obsidian? Who's one of our preferred vendors? And then it'll get
Yeah.
them connected and sort of send them down the pipeline.
And as far as the prospecting part of it goes,
Yeah.
listen, it's kind of like what he said, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of vines that are growing off of the same stem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So part of what our bot does is we figured out that it takes 10 to 12 touches per person for them to respond. And what I will tell you is that number is almost 100% accurate. We will watch our bot. So what will happen is, right, you have TCPA laws. So you can't just upload a list out of, let's say, a title company and try to farm people without their permission. So everything's got to be inbound leads, right? So we set up Facebook pages, or we set up stuff through Google, other things where people are given permission. And then those inbound leads are coming into L, which is our bot. And then L, within 60 seconds, responds to that lead. Now, the funny thing is that L will reach out to them. And then, let's say the average person just blows her off. Well, L will continue to follow up unless the person says unsubscribe or stop. And what we have seen is that we can see it live on our phone. We'll be watching TV, and all of a sudden, this person starts responding to her and engaging with her, and then we'll count how many messages she's sent to them, and it's between that 8 and 12.
Yeah.
So, we do a lot. We're doing a lot with a lot of inbound leads, and then letting the automation take it from there, because she can schedule the appointments, right? So from a prospecting standpoint, it allows us to just work our sphere, but she's working 24/7 on any leads that come in, whether it's 2:00 in the morning, and she's responding within 60 seconds, and having a real conversation with these people, to the point where sometimes I look at it and I'm like, okay, like, this is
better than what
it's better than what I would say at 7 in the morning, right? And so and then you just look at your calendar and you start seeing these people booking times. So when you talk about the prospecting part of what we're doing, that's a lot of it. I mean, we're using her to do a lot of that prospecting. We're doing it in a legal and ethical way, but it is amazing, through the back end, we can train her to do a lot of things, and it's really been phenomenal to watch her kind of do her thing. And it's
and
so it gets
and
volume.
because some of this work is done by the AI, by an agent, by an AI agent, you actually have time to like go ahead and do little bit more. Like, I don't think how many other realtors actually have time on a Monday to come and do something, because they are just drowned in something that happened in the weekend.
We just got, listen, I mean, between the beginning of last week and today, I mean, we have just gotten pounded with referrals, right? And we've got listings and like other buyers in the last 7 days. The phones haven't stopped ringing, and that's just from our sphere alone. That's not even coming from any of the inbounds. So for us, it's like, this is a necessity at this point, because we can't be everywhere all the time. So
exactly.
It helps to really bridge that gap.
Yeah, and I think so. In addition to the prospecting, I think one of the biggest advantages, we as a working professional end up getting our life back, right? Like, we have some sensibility to work-life balance, some sensibility of, okay, like, I don't have to be with my phone in my pocket or by my head 24 hours.
Absolutely.
My wife wants to hang me on a daily basis anytime after 7 o'clock, and you make a great point, though, because with the AI, it does give us a reprieve. Like, I don't have to feel like I have to pick up the phone every time something happens, right? Because I know that it's in good hands with the AI enough that it can make it to the next day. So that you make a great point.
Yeah, and I go back and I always look at the way the technology improves, right? I was the first person to end up getting one of the original Teslas in 2012. And the autopilot seemed like people thought the car is going to drive by itself. It's not going to drive by itself, but if the water bottle fell on my floor, I could put it on autopilot, go pick up the water bottle from the floor so I don't meet with an accident. Like, that wasn't possible in another car, but with an autopilot, I could at least do a little bit more than a cruise control. So life just keeps getting better with automation. It doesn't replace everything, but the impact of what it can do is just extremely useful.
Well, I mean, that's a great point. Let's look at full self-driving for a second. Now, I mean, if unsupervised comes out this next year or two,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to literally, I mean, potentially have like a setup where your car's driving you around in between appointments. You get to sit there and review things with your client and be able to focus on them as opposed to be driving, trying to, look at an MLS sheet, call the next
Yeah.
agent or whatever that looks like. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be cool. You'll be able to send your car to go pick up clients and send them to a showing and meet you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's coming quick, and so we're trying to stay ahead of that, which is the big thing. And back to prospecting, real quick, if I may,
Sure.
it's not just our customers that we'll be working with; it's other agents, like these agents that come through and show a potential listing, for example.
Yeah.
We have something called reverse prospecting, where it's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you had set up a search for your client. This popped up in their search. They had some potential interest in it, maybe, and then you never hear from that agent. And so this allows us, we just got a list of 300 agents on one of our listings to go back through reverse prospecting. We're able to go through and have an initial reach out to say from L, hey, you had shown, one of our listings over here at Obsidian, and we just wanted to touch base with you and see if it was potential for a buyer, potentially provide some other information that maybe they didn't initially dig up. And I mean, we're getting deals done that way. So that's another advantage to, potentially working with us, is that we're leveraging this not only for you to potentially have a better experience on the buy side, but also maybe get some more traction on your listings, get some more eyeballs, get some more people through.
Yeah, it's a value add. When we go to our listing appointments now, we're able to go in and talk to these sellers, and they're like, well, what's going to differentiate you from anybody else? And it's like, well, you know what? We actually have something that is going to differentiate, from everyone else. Like we're doing a lot of different things to get a lot of different eyeballs on your property, and it's not necessarily the old school way. And it's gonna make a difference. Things will get ironed out, and so it just gives us an advantage there. It's not just on the buy side, but it's also about when you have properties that are sitting days on market anywhere up to 60 days. It makes a huge difference if you can get rid of yours in 40, right?
Yeah.
So we're using the automation to do a lot of different things on the sell side as well, to get rid of the properties a little bit quicker for the sellers.
Yeah, and it's a big thing, right? Like, because there is always, the markets always fluctuate, right? It goes from buyer side to seller side to buyer. Everyone says this is a neutral market, but I've never actually. It's always one or the other, right? One person has a little more leverage, and there has to be equal benefits to both to actually make the sale happen. Finally the sale does happen at a balance, but we figuring out what that balance is the trade.
So true.
And I think one thing you're going to see in the next few years, personally, a lot of the older agents, I think you're going to start to see starting to retire, because it's hard for them to keep up with the technology.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a change in the guard here pretty soon.
Yeah.
I mean, today's day and age is essentially volume based, and as a human, we have a limit to our bandwidth of what we can produce in one day or what we can output. And if you don't leverage, then you're capped, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, and I always think I might be one of that older agents very, very soon. And the way I look at it is I already feel like if I have to work with somebody that's in their 20s, they work differently, right? They want things available on the phone instantly. Their expectations are slightly different, right? And if we are not keeping up with what is happening, we are going to we may be successful today, we may be successful for the next 5 years, but are we going to be in business 10 years from now if we are not adapting? So embracing technology is the only way forward.
I'm with you.
Well, I think the personal touch is still going to have to be there. And I kind of equate that to when you were able to I was telling Dave, because he's a little bit younger than me, but you remember this, when you first were able to order clothes on the internet, right? People were very hesitant about doing it because they're so used to trying the clothes on.
Yeah.
Right. But then eventually they were like, all right, send it to me, and if I could send them back and just put a label on it, we're cool, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it just went to show that people still need to touch. And I still believe, if you're coming to Denver or, the Bay Area and you're going to go buy a home, right? And it's $500 to $1 million.
Yeah.
I still want to talk to the guy running my numbers.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
As much as I love computers, but
yeah, and real estate is one of the few fields which is left out where people do matter. You still want to go and see the place. You might have lived next door, but you'll still want to go and look at that neighbor's house with the same floor plan just to know whether it's going to be fine.
Until we get the holograms, I think we're gonna be good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So as we come closer to the end of this episode, I would love to kind of understand who will be an ideal person that should reach out to you and say what would be a right fit and what would be a wrong fit for somebody reaching out to you.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Him and I are two different personalities, and so the what do you call it? The complementary dynamic is there for thought process, and so I have different clients than he potentially has, for example.
Sure.
And I think those, and we'll be honest with our people, if we meet with somebody and it's not quite a personality match, because that's half of our equation is going out with somebody and being able to understand them. And, sometimes they're looking for somebody who's a little more aggressive, for example.
Yeah.
I might send them to Dax. And if there's somebody who's a little bit more of a nurture and a little, they're trying to be fun, then he'll send it to me because he's fun.
Yeah.
No, but that's that's what we're trying to build. We don't want this huge conglomerate team. We want a really kind of lean, just really high personal professionalism, sort of tight knit group that we have a place for kind of anybody that can come through the door. It may not be me, it may not be Dax, it may not be our buyer agent or our listing specialist, but one of us on the team is going to be able to have some sort of personal relationship with them, whether that's common interest or work, approach or whatever that looks like. So I think because really the goal is that personal touch. If they want a faceless corporation to never talk to anybody, that's not our client.
Right.
Yeah. I can't stress that enough, that with all the things that we're doing to kind of help the business, we're moving forward because we need to adapt, but we're also doing it so that we can do what we do best, which is create relationships and long-lasting ones. And that's at the core of what our business is. So, I feel like anybody that has those same values would be a really good fit, no matter what their personality is. Sure. But we're not really looking for anybody that's not going to understand that, because frankly, our people are lifetime referrals, right? We go out to dinner with them. We see a lot of them outside of business, and that matters. And I don't expect that to change just because we're using a few more tools, right?
Sure. And I think so that's you're embracing diversity. You're allowing other people with different personalities, different thought processes to come in. And I just started thinking about somebody that is not very big on tech, but very good with people. So that itself is a different personality, right? And I think with making tech easier, I think you're just helping them as well, because even if they are not as tech forward, it's the technology that's helping them rather than them having to learn something complicated. So if you're somebody that's worried about what's happening with tech, you don't want to get involved in everything. What Daxon and David have done is ensure the tech is doing all the work. You don't have to it's going to be easier to work with it, right? It's not, you don't have to learn AI.
Absolutely. If you just spend 1 hour a day messing around with ChatGPT or Gemini, just going in there and asking it, how do you paint a yellow dog, right? It could be anything in the world. And if you just dedicate 1 hour of that a day, you will be shocked at how much you learn in a month, right?
Yeah.
So it's just about the willingness to do it.
Yeah, Exactly. So sounds great. So yeah, as we come to the end of this episode, any other topics or things that you would like to cover?
I think to boil it down, just to a very surface level, is that we're trying to make accessible tools that are easy to use and bring some relief back to the process, because it can be overbearing. It's gotten a lot more complicated over the years.
Yeah.
There's more documents, there's more contracts, there's more legal liability.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to simplify that process.
Yeah. Thanks. So that makes it so much easier. I can't wait to see when you expand into the Bay Area, or maybe I move to Denver. Might just be.
There we go.
This might just be the reason for me to do it.
We'll save you some space in our office.
Yeah, we'll have Bella reach out and book your flight.
Yeah.
We'll give you a list of good restaurants, everything you need.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I have always enjoyed the food whenever I've visited Denver.
Well, we can't wait to have you.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks a lot for opening up and sharing everything that you're doing with the audience. Looking forward to having a lot more meaningful conversations again. And thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us. As always, we always enjoy listening to the people on your podcast as well. It brings us into a whole new world and a lot more learning. So it's great.
Yeah, thank you, Amish.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Main Street Minds. Want to share your journey with our audience? Head over to mainstreetmindspodcast.com/guest to apply.